Shores of the Great Salt Lake were once full of activity. Before World War II, there were restaurants, there were resorts, and events that would bring people out in the droves.
As part of our Great Salt Lake collaborative, Dan Spindle found out why those who work with and study the lake think that type of activity is coming back.
These days, the Great Salt Lake is much busier than it was a few years ago.
We've seen the tourism double here since the beginning of the pandemic. We've seen a 40% increase just this year alone.
Dave Shearer manages the Great Salt Lake State Park and Marina. He says people going outside and staying close to home during the pandemic helped drive that. But so has talk about the lake being in danger of drying up.
The people in the Wasatch Front are now seeing what it really is and coming out and experiencing it.
While a lot of the recreation has been hikes and kayaking, the rise in water levels this year allowed people to get boats back on the water. Shearer said about 60 were able to get to the lake from the State Park Marina this year.
It is a sailing mecca, yeah.
The dense water makes it harder for waves to kick up.
So you can go out there and you can glide along doing 6-7 knots in totally glass conditions. It's great.
Then there are the birds.
In the Western Hemisphere, this is one of the most important bodies of water for birds.
Bonnie Baxter is a professor at Westminster University and the director of the Great Salt Lake Institute. She says the lake feeds more than 10 million birds as they migrate, driving bird-watching tourism to Utah. However, the importance of the lake to the birds has potential to change how the lake is managed if water levels continue to fall.
That could mean that the Endangered Species Act gets used to save Great Salt Lake. That would not be everyone's preferred method.
The Endangered Species Act could shift control of the lake away from the state of Utah and to the federal government. That would likely change water rights for farmers, businesses, and people in northern Utah.
If you're not a bird watcher and you don't go outside and you don't care about the birds, hearing that the birds are in trouble, everyone should care about that.
Baxter says the lake is a valuable teaching tool. She takes her students and grade school students on field trips to the lake to learn from and study its unique ecosystem.
It's really cool to teach kids about science with something in their backyard.
When Baxter's research first started showing warning signs for the lake and she started speaking about it, she was contacted from people around Utah telling her about the importance of the lake to their lives and their upbringing. The messages had a common theme.
I didn't realize how important the lake was to me until it was threatened.
As long as the lake has water in it, Shearer thinks the renewed interest in it will continue.
I think it's a new resurgence of the Great Salt Lake, and people can come out here for very cheap and recreate all day.
Dan Spindle, KSL 5 News.
Keep selling that shot right there. It's beautiful. This story was produced as part of the Great Salt Lake Collaborative. You can check out more stories about saving the Great Salt Lake on our website, ksltv.com.